Why you say you don't acknowledge it? Why are we not acknowledging
Why?
it? Acknowledge receipt if I
It's acknowledged receipt?
No.
Why not? I'm trying to understand your why you saying
And for us, we're not supposed to take the bank stamp and put it on something that's not the bank's physical owned property.
it's something that says
But
receipt
then y'all,
by your name.
then y'all need a receive stamp.
No, we can make those up. Ones will make up any stamp. No,
You have to acknowledge receipt. If I drop something to you, you have to acknowledge receipt
no, I
that you.
don't.
Then so I have to keep on
So when
sending that
the
to y'all
messenger
every
comes
time y'all
and they
tell me
have a
I
book
send that.
and you
Depending
get
on who it is, they'll do it. I'll turn
and
it
like
to
I
the
said,
supervisor.
no one is perfect because Securities Commission, I have 2 experiences where they sent me a letter saying I didn't, and I was like,
Yeah.
no, baby, see
Yeah,
it right
I
there.
understand. Yeah.
So if they could make that kind of mistake and they supposed to be a regulator,
No,
judge,
they
a
are
private
human
bank.
beings there. Mistakes can happen. But I don't
Yeah,
stand
but
for
if
sign
you can't prove yourself, that could be to the tune of
So if you took
thousands
it
of
and you
dollars.
forgot where you put it, that's it?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But I guess that's why Royal Bank could do the.
So you would
thing
accept
when
it. You just ain't signing to say you accept
No,
it.
I'll tell
Right.
my supervisor accept it and she'll make that call.
So you don't even if okay, let's say the person is not requiring a stamp and a signature, you just don't accept it at all.
No?
I can tell my supervisor because she likes it to stamp and sign. So I spoke. I work in the back anyway, so chances are if I come up front, they just happen to catch someone who free. And if I come in,
But you're an
yes,
employee.
Someone
Yeah.
has to be assigned that role, someone gotta be
No.
doing that reception, that concierge,
we don't
whatever
have
it
that.
is.
That in Trinidad. Yeah, we don't have that.
Say that in Trinidad.
Yeah.
The central bank need to have rules against stuff like that.
What do you mean that in Trinidad?
We don't have concierge, we have a reception.
Yeah, but you
That's
whatever
whatever
don't
you
matter.
call it, someone is responsible for
My
receiving
supervisor.
correspondence on behalf of the
Right,
institution.
my supervisor, she sits
And if the
out
receptionist
front, so
can't
she
receive
normally
it,
will be
you
there to
have
receive
someone, you
everything.
call, will you call the person it's addressed to?
No.
Somebody gotta receive it.
That ain't right.
Anybody who free could receive it, other than the security, cause he don't work. He don't work for the bank.
Oh no, Ray, put it back up there.
Did I move it?
I think so.
I signed it.
Yeah, you did. It was up here.
I don't know what happened to it
It
after
was
that.
Let me see if I didn't put it in my book when the papers dropped. Yeah, I don't agree with that one. No. I don't know about
It was right up there.
that. I know it was right up there, but I had it in my hand.
So you should get a stamp on that.
Let me see if that's all in my book or within all my papers. I don't see it in there. Where did it disappear to?
That's it right there. Down on your hand.
No, I had it. And it disappeared. Any of the stuff, I'll find it before the day is out.
Look in the front of that window, the same manila folder.
That's
Aside from the book,
right
right
now,
in the
that
front
all
of
the
that.
assets.
No, right here.
Something like
Yep.
that.
That's it, right?
Yeah,
One extra point on my exam.
right there.
That right in Scotiabank.
Yeah, right.
Somebody does.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about record keeping today, corporate record keeping. So when you hear the word corporate, what comes to mind?
An entity, a company.
Yes, an entity, a company, and what else?
That thing is when I give it a company.
Yeah, that's one thing. When you say corporate record keeping, what comes to mind? As a company.
The record keeping
Keeping
Record keeping.
documents.
business.
Right, so you're thinking about all the documents that are required in order for the company to be in compliance with the
Yes.
laws. When you hear corporate, that's what it means. Okay, so look at what we have here. The reasons why people have to keep and maintain corporate records. One is to ensure limited liability protection for limited liability companies. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Ensure limited
Liability protection for limited liabilities companies. That's one of the reasons why you maintain records. What does that mean?
Because then you have to have, without using the same word again, but you have to have records as to one, the powers that persons have, and then to ensure that they're carrying out those powers.
Okay, limited liability go back to chapter 1. What are we talking about?
Responsible.
Unincorporated company.
Yeah.
You
Like
limit
some is being limited, some
Limited,
is
yeah, but
your
okay.
It's your responsibility.
Okay, so where would we
Cost of
find,
those.
so where would you find, what document would you find your limited liability in? Mm-hmm, and more?
That's articles there. Statute, show the agreement.
Mm-hmm.
What's that word?
Shareholder.
Unanimous.
Unanimous.
No.
Agreement.
Shareholders agreement.
Agreement.
Shareholders register
Thank you.
and the M&A.
Okay.
So when we say you maintaining corporate records for the following reasons, to ensure limited liability protection. So here, when you look at the register, it'll actually tell you what each shareholder shares are in the company. Here, you'll also see what they can and cannot do in terms of the company, again limiting their liability. And of course, the M&A tells you the objects and then the powers. The second one, next reason why you have to maintain corporate records is to ensure statutory, legal, and regulatory compliance. What do you think that means? Statutory, legal, and regulatory compliance. What does that mean?
Following all of us.
To make sure that the statutes of the company are in line with what the legal requirements are of the jurisdiction that you're in. To make sure so
That's all the requirements.
Mm-hmm. So you're making sure that according
you have the
already
minimum
doing
amount of
business.
directors, the minimum amount of shareholders,
where there's an IBC
your registration is done
or a
properly.
company, they're talking about records now. What records are required statutorily, the records that are required legally, and the records that are required
Right.
by regulatory. And we'll come back to that. Third, allows shareholders to be able to inspect corporate documents properly and adequately. What's the record keeping for that?
Your corporate documents, your incorporation, your good standing, your MEMS and arts, your shareholder register, your directors register.
Good standing is after a year, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's ensuring that you would have paid your annual fees to the government.
They don't. These people don't.
Some people don't.
Oh, people.
A lot of my customers.
Then their company is to be struck off.
When we want to close their account, they get mad.
Why?
So they say the government ain't for the people.
What? But it's law.
Yeah.
They must be not regulated entities, because you have to still say
Yeah,
they're
you're
going
regulated,
through
it has
as
to
well.
go.
They still want to bring in their stuff.
Yeah, but then who auditing y'all?
No, we're gonna close the account.
Okay.
The first step is
The second one, certificate of
Request
depending
that
on
you
our
send
the
staff,
standing
depend if
certificate of
it'll come to customer
incorporation.
service, then it'll go to the business banking officers. We used to have one in each branch, but they centralize them now into 2 hubs. So it's difficult now.
Any other corporate doc?
Your registers, shareholders and directors.
Share certificate.
Register,
Shareholders.
shareholders, register, officers, and directors. Four, to fully document the shareholders, directors, and officers of a company and their due diligence information.
The registers.
What goes along with the registers?
Your identification, your proof of residence for those persons.
Okay, right, so.
Yeah, government issued ID,
Mhm.
proof of address.
And those crazy new lists they put out don't make sense.
No, it don't.
The crazy list
I
is
mean,
that.
The A, B, C
simplified.
categories, yeah, that don't make sense.
Yeah, it don't make sense, and I conflict with my vibe.
Yeah,
My
it's lower
vibe.
than my minimum standard.
I'm sorry, what's this ABC
But
list?
this red, that
But
was
you need
issued
to,
for
Opening up a.
Account.
non-bankable persons.
It makes banking for us difficult.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
see,
'cause people wanna waive that at you,
what
but
you,
that
yeah,
don't
but
need
you,
us,
but yeah,
that
but
would-
what you realize is that's for non-bankable persons. That's not like across. A person like me and you, that's not for us. That's for those other people.
So why should
really
Because you have to
someone,
bring them
why,
into the
right,
system.
why should someone have a lesser standard?
Because they don't have the documentation.
Or like us, we do money transfers.
Mm-hmm.
One of my requirements for foreign exchange, I need to know what category you fall into. So I need to know what's your situation, what's your status in the country. An NIB card and a driver's license don't do that for me.
Yeah, we had that argument too, cause it was
That's two
like,
documents from category A.
you ask the customer whatever they tell you, you go by
The
what they say.
categories don't make sense.
For money transfer business.
Yes.
Then you
And
ought to
remember,
go back
for
to the,
us,
to
for
the
me to
regulators
be-
and say that.
Right, for me in compliance, I can't just serve the AML, I have to also serve foreign exchange, I have to also serve immigration.
I'm sorry, where does list come from?
Simplified,
Simplified.
simplified due diligence.
It itemizes
But does-
our
in the act?
IDs.
That's in the act?
No, the guidance. I didn't read it because it don't pertain to me anymore. I'm not in domestic.
It don't make sense, it's just like they put out the new work permit, they don't have an issue, they don't have half of the information you need, I'm like, what?
That has a chip, right?
Yeah.
Then you need a reader.
Do we have readers? Does anybody have a reader?
Where do you
No.
get the reader, how do you get access?
Yeah, that
You
damn
working
thing
for
say
this government
readable,
now,
man. Miss
They
Archer.
should be readable.
They the plastic with the chip in it, but they end up on them chip. They readable.
How do you know?
Because
They
if
get
you
a
ain't
chip
got,
readable.
somebody would have to, one person somewhere would have the machine to read it. So if nobody have the machine to read it, then there's no machine to even input it. It's just a card with a chip. That's it.
So get ready for the next wave
and-
then.
and-
Okay,
The card
that's
is
all they
readable
do.
chip.
Ms. Archie, that is the third document, I think, in the last 2 years that they have modified, introduced, you don't think from the first to second, now this is the third time they should get it right?
But don't they
This
send
is
them
the
out,
third
but
one, they
hold
did
on now,
draft,
hold
they
on
did
now.
NIV twice, they did
In their
driver's license
defense,
now.
they send it out for consultation, you know.
To who?
It's on their website. You don't go there?
Yeah.
On the website.
Central
You have
Bank
an
will send a
obligation to go there.
consultation document.
Not for that ID.
Yes, it did.
No.
You
Because
ain't
when-
telling me
when
it
I
came
asked
out
them,
because
they
I
didn't
sent it
know.
to our RMs and our RMs when they read it, they said, no, this is just for domestic banking. It was out there. I saw
Never
it.
seen it. I'm an MTB, it should've come to me.
It ain't coming to you, it on the website.
Yeah.
It's on the website, seriously. It was on the website because I pulled it down.
Guess what?
See,
When
Central
when
Bank
I
don't send out
asked-
notifications, BFSB is send out
Notifications, or AIBT, depends on
Yes.
what it is.
I asked, who did I ask?
Who?
What's her name?
So that mean that none of
Yeah.
y'all in your field send comments.
No. And it directly impacts me.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but y'all, yeah.
Yeah,
Central
you
Bank
have to,
don't
you
send
have
out
to go
those
to the
lists.
central bank's website first thing in the morning and in the evening. You have to.
But guess what, when I talked to my relationship officer, she didn't know what I was talking about either.
No, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Obligation
I
on
don't know
you.
either, because like you said, it's for domestic
It's
banking.
for domestic
That's-
banking,
yeah,
so I would
it's
not
still-
have looked at it. But I go there first thing in the morning and last thing in the night to see what the changes are, and you have to. That's you're obligated to do so.
That makes sense.
But guess what, in none of your trainings do they tell you that. We end up come upon that because we realize what central bank is doing. But central bank, they don't, in none of their seminars, anything like that. You know, it's like, to me, like, drop the line for the newbies coming into the industry.
No, but
I always say
raised-
none of our
I raised the
organization have
question
newbie training.
More than once at Baco, I raised that specific question,
What's
why
that?
isn't it sent through Baco for consultation?
The BFSB sends it, Baco sends it, and I can tell
And
you
guess what,
the
BFSB only sends it to certain
thing
people.
sends it to,
AIBT?
the Bar Association.
Oh.
They send some all of them immediately.
Here's the thing though, the AIBT only sends it to senior management.
Yeah.
BFSB only sends it to senior management and maybe second tier, but it's not like you could register to be on there.
No, because
subscribe.
don't forget
But
how
guess what?
communication works. Communication works in the regulatory world by senior one and senior two.
Yes.
That's it. They have a responsibility to disseminate. See, that's the issue. Thank you. What you want, this one? Oh. This both? Tell Miguel don't play with me. Supposed to be another one. Tell him this came out. Where's the next one? Show him that one. He should still do this. Well, I might need that one. The next one.
And then I'm licensed by Central Security and ICD.
What?
Is the next one just like that? No, different. You think I would get something from at least one of them?
They issue
Your
different
primary
guidances.
source should be back home. You don't get it from there?
No,
Yeah.
no, no.
But then you
No,
need
you
to ask
don't.
Paco why are they doing what they're supposed to do.
Back home, that's so much trouble.
I raised it at the conference last week.
They'll do an MLR all day next week. Raise it again.
You know, they're a little fancy app. I put it right in there. And they have stuff.
Yeah.
Back home, back home.
Regulatory
They had the
compliance.
GF, RS
That's
had
the
it
same.
for the conference last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but I go to the sites and see what's there. Yep.
Even back home, like I said,
Oh, number
they
3
needed
is
a
corporate
newbie
doc-
day,
that's a corporate
a newbie
document.
training. Because
Corporate
when you,
documents,
as a new compliance officer in the field, when you go to the industry trainings, they speak in the industry's trainings as if they expect you to have a certain amount of knowledge, which if you don't have the story as to how we got to this point in this regulation of what we are talking about, they need a newbie training. They need something that brings people up to speed
But
at
that's
least
not
once a
Paco's
year.
job. The regulator's not gonna
No,
do that.
I saying that's what,
Paco
that
should
was
do
my
that.
suggestion about
That's the whole part of being a member. And I
And
think
they
it was
still,
mentioned
they still
before.
an education day, I think they did an education day a couple years ago, but still the education day was just like, it wasn't, it didn't have no,
So then you should volunteer.
I volunteer. I leave back with this.
You what?
What's politics?
Politics, you need to make it a presentation. 5. To represent current and accurate information on the company is corporate and financial affairs and shareholding. What document is that?
That's your audited financial,
Yes.
and your register of shareholders again. You know what I'm looking at, Miss, anyway, when we get to that, I got a suggestion. When we reach there.
What happened in the bar?
Smells awesome.
Huh?
Yeah, he smells good.
Oh, him? Come late. Behind the glass.
Hold on, see, you can remember, Seth don't get the office, you know, Seth don't move on.
take his book out, Jen.
He looking for attention. Open that book.
Yeah.
So actually you got me there.
Anything else you think we need for record keeping? Of a company? Anything else? Mm-hmm. Let's put them over here.
What is it?
Minute book.
Minute.
If it's an IBC. Register of mortgages. Anything else? IBCs have register of mortgages.
What is that?
Number that for?
That's where if they
This
do
is any
mortgages.
other item.
they keep
Actual,
it.
actual mortgages?
And charge, like further charges. Anything else? Any other record keeping document?
No, welcome, I should stay there.
We have it there.
That's for number 5.
Number 5.
Oh,
Yeah.
what about the registrar advice, you say that, did you pay for the government fees?
The fees?
That's your consideration of good standing.
Yeah. This will be in
And
here.
number 3.
Where you see that? Oh.
It's a bit of, oh, he was late.
He wasn't. He walked in me. That's my right.
He was out there. Oh. He was outside. I saw him.
Thank you.
Say that. Alright, so let's look at record keeping for an IBC. You have your act?
Good job.
IBC.
Yeah. What are you looking at? Registered holders, government issued ID and proof of address.
Oh, he reading that thing. Okay, let's go. Record keeping requirements for an IBC. Because it's an IBC, what's the first thing you need? Yes? What's the first thing you need as an IBC? Before you can even keep the records?
Incorporation?
No?
Oh, registered officer, registered agent.
Yes.
Sorry, what's
You
that?
just saw that, right?
I said it, but I didn't say it loud.
Oh. Section?
Registered officer, registered agent.
Mm-hmm. Section 37 and 38 of the Act. Why do you think it's important to have a registered agent at all times?
That's your representative. A lot of these, IBCs have foreign persons. There's somebody in the ground.
So it's like, so if you look at an IBC versus a company, what role you think the agent represents in comparison to a company?
So shareholders, we don't know. The agent?
They don't manage the company, because
No, they don't manage the company.
Presence. They're the presence, they're the representative.
they just want to make sure that
Making sure your company is in accordance with
More or less,
local
but they're not.
But they're
legislation.
not,
Yeah,
because they're still acting on behalf, so they're still making decisions, right?
not all
No.
of them. They just
No.
maintain records.
yeah.
Unless they're providing that service.
To me, they're supposed to ensure that your company and your structure is in line with the local legislation and regulation.
So are they not acting like a secretary?
Yeah.
Like a secretary? Making sure that all the records are in place
Mm-hmm.
and that they're there for viewing when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
And that all the fees are paid and all the receipts are there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they get a fee for that.
Yeah.
So in order to be a registered agent, what's required? Who could be a registered agent?
You have to be registered with by the FCA,
FCSP.
FCSP something.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean SPSP something?
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna say financial
Financial
services
responsibility.
authority by feds. I mean financial service company providers.
Right.
Thinking of another jurisdiction, sorry.
And what does that act say? What is it for? If you get a license under this act, what does it allow you to do? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could be a director, you could be an officer. What else can you be?
You have an IBC. It's really to create IBC and be a registered agent.
Mm-hmm. And offer directorship and officer.
Hold on, what your question asked? Your question said, what does it mean to be registered by
What
the
is, yes, what is this?
financial services? That is the act.
What the act allow you to do?
Provide financial services, but
And what is that?
to act as registered agent and nominee companies and all of those things.
As a director, as an officer.
Okay.
So section 38 also says that the registered agent must be submitted to the registrar for registration at the date, and the RG keeps a record or register of all registered agents. I wonder if that's public. I don't know. Under section 7 of the IBC amendment, a register of mortgages and charges may be prepared and kept at the registered office. So that was the one that I put over here. Register of mortgages and charges. And the IBC may elect to submit that to the Registrar General if they decide to do so. And IBC is also required to maintain a share register at its office. Section 29, subsection 1. Anybody printed it? Or you on your phone? Eh?
No, I haven't read it. I have a question,
Mhm.
and I'm surprised to see that it doesn't require that the documents be, have an as-at date. A lot of times we get these documents, it's one, not stamped by the registrar, two, it's not an effective date. So you can send me a register of shareholders, that could be the register from 2 years ago, it could have changed. Like, how do I know that the one I'm getting is the most current one, even though I request a current, your most current copy of your register of officers and directors and shareholders and members? But it's not dated, the register
never
itself is
dated.
not dated,
Is
it's
there
nor is
no-
it stamped by the registrar with a date. So how do I know that that is the most current
What do you mean
one?
it's not stamped by the registrar?
You always get them without them being stamped by the registrar.
They don't submit it?
What is
No.
that?
She's talking about the register of shareholders or register of officers and directors.
Anyone, any of those registers.
If you file them, then yeah.
If you file, if you don't file it, it won't be
If you don't
stamped.
file it, it ain't get stamped. Nah,
You have to file it for it to be stamped.
They may file it, maybe I'm just not getting the copy of the one that's filed.
that's why you gotta take a copy so they can stamp it too.
Yeah.
Cause they ain't checking for it. Once they got what they got it.
Mm-hmm.
They
So
ain't-
normally when you do your annual returns,
I
you
do
put
copy.
everything in it. So you get a stamped copy of everything.
Okay, so we have, people that open IPCs, open accounts for the IPC. And you ask for the registers, and we get them non-dated and non-stamped, so now I know I can go back and ask for the stamp.
Yeah, they can take it when they send them in. Because it doesn't say here in the act that it has to be stamped.
But it say it has to be submitted to the registrar general. Should it say that?
No.
No, only the agent.
Mm-mm.
So then that's the thing though, if it's not required to be submitted to the registrar general, and it's not dated, that is be my problem. I don't know the as-at date, I don't know if that's the current one,
But the onus is on them.
yeah.
It'll be like you forever questioning everything that you see. If this is what you gave me, you said this is the latest as at this date, unless I find out something different that's contrary to that, that is what it is. Because when you get it from other jurisdictions, they're not stamped either, you know.
No, they're not.
Because remember now with the of technology, I
And
could
some of
just
them
go and
be
put
so
your company
old.
name in, and I could just print it out. It's not stamped. Because they're gonna tell you what they have on record. So a lot of stuff I was telling you earlier, a lot of stuff that we require, even in this act and in the Companies Act, other jurisdictions
Just
don't do it. Because they've all moved into the electronic phase. All of this going down to the registrar, digging up through files, looking, waiting for files, I could do it right at my desk. I could just put the name of a company in it, and the whole thing will come right up. Shareholders, officers, directors, and all the last documents that they filed, all right on the internet.
You have to subscribe to them all the time.
Yeah, but some are free. So why are we still in the dark ages, I don't know. And everything is automated around the world. And countries small just like ours offering the same service.
You know why?
No, why?
Cooking jobs, and you gotta go through that thing.
But there's still jobs in automation, you know.
It is, but it's not as much. Now, I
There's a
can say
different
that.
skill set.
It's a different skill set, but it's still not as much. I can prove that.
How?
Because first of all, even though you're automated, it's where it's being migrated to.
No, that's a different.
One.
We said nothing was
no,
migrated.
because even so our stuff is automated,
Mhm.
but it's automated somewhere else.
Right, but if we automate that,
But you can automate, but you still losing people. It's not as much.
You don't
What
have to
you
lose
with a
people.
minister-
you don't have to lose people.
Because, okay, if you automate,
Yes, you
you need
do.
to have a
No.
4-eye concept, that's still 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because okay, if we have a whole room, whole building full of files, all company files, someone has to scan them.
Understand?
Then someone has to check to see what scan in it is readable.
And someone have to
Then
actually do the
someone
data
else
entry
has to
of
go.
that thing.
And where it's not, to reach
No,
out to
no,
those people
but
to
we
get the
assume-
documents.
We assume.
You see what I'm saying? It's a process.
But we assume that there may be a need for manpower of 4 when they may use a manpower of 2.
Team needs for manpower.
Yeah.
Because, for example, you may say, okay, you need somebody to scan.
I can
the
hear
gas.
you say, I can hear you saying that when everything is fully automated. But at this stage now, I think they would need all of them.
They may still keep on, but I'm saying.
But after a while, yes, they will. But then those people will have to learn new skills.
And
You learn new
it's gonna encourage
skills,
people
and you
to
can learn
improve
new
the
skills
they have.
and still stay in the same place of employment. But we can't stay in this time. When I went to the Supreme Court registry, I went in the book. The books are in the cabinet. All the pages are torn out.
You know when fire
And
happens?
they're stuck underneath there. So I asked the man, I said, so what if what I'm looking for is down there? He said,
Yeah, but
It's true.
the pages all
you see what I'm saying? We should have already scanned them in.
Because the
And
way-
by
the
now,
way you
every
can't
summer,
scan,
have students take those same scan sheets and start to type them in.
And right now they can't scan.
We have a lot of people that could be sitting down and typing these things.
How we could be on Facebook if we type in though?
What? And they type on Facebook, they'll learn to
No,
type.
but you can
in
only
front of them.
type on one or the other, is what she said.
Oh, well, they'll have to learn new skills.
If a fire happens, they have nothing.
I know that, that's what I'm saying.
they
But,
stop
but,
all
my,
the
but,
flights.
but I'm saying is back to my point again, why aren't we doing it?
Look at police. I got in a car accident. Went and gave a report. That man again, we find the big one. That's where we still at.
Why didn't he type it straight into the computer? Huh?
Type.
Maybe right.
They writing. They still writing. And that's why lawyers can win over these people when they go to court because we don't have the proper paper trail. That's how we win. don't
We have to move away from paper.
But we need to. But how many people?
Yeah, paperless don't mean no paper, you know.
It doesn't.
It means less paper.
Accessing,
Yeah, having access to.
Right.
But that's a situation that we're gonna have to
But
address.
that same thing with passport office. Passport office is now automated, but
Mhm.
they gotta go to another company now in order to get the information, pull it down for them. That makes no sense. It's still, sometimes we make things better, but it's not better.
What do you mean pull it down?
For example, that company it's outsourced.
Mhm.
But
That's the question
They-
though, that brings back to your original point, why you
it
outsource
still
it?
has to, it's outsourced to someone, but they now have to get the information and send that data down. So they gotta go pull that box and then send it out.
But guess
So
what,
it's still, I don't see, sometimes we make it more favorable, but it's
And
not.
I understand that.
but that's why your jobs are lost, not the automation in the
I
outsourcing.
don't know these people.
All of that same thing, all that happens, all two of them tax together in one.
Ask me.
Those are you? Oh, Gladstone Brown, I don't know him.
Which one do I get one there?
I understand the, oh no, here, come, that's you. You're outsourcing why? I mean, cause I
For
thought my
example.
passport didn't take long.
How long is
You
it?
have to say, we have to do it, you have to choose, but for example, when the last time we did it,
I just did it 2 weeks ago.
right, if something that you don't have, or whatever, for example, you gave them something, you know they have no file, they ain't giving that to you. You gotta go and get that and bring that back.
Oh, you mean like that? Oh, yeah,
But
yeah,
they
yeah.
got that, but for them to get that,
Well, what she
they
did,
gotta
let me
go-
tell you what she did for me. She said on the system, my documents were in the old format and not the new format.
but they
right.
didn't give that to you, but they
Well,
got
she
that.
did.
The nice ones, maybe.
She
If they
printed
don't-
it out and she said, this is what's on your file, which is, you know, my birth certificate was the long one. She said, and this cannot go in the readable machine. You need to bring this back. Bring this back before this move to the next desk. Cause when they move to the next desk, they're gonna say, this item is missing on the system and your passport is gonna sit there.
Right.
So when you go to pick it up in the due date time, it's not gonna be ready.
My question
So
is-
if you've gotten a passport within recent times, all your documents are there, so the update or the renewal of the passport should be more simpler now?
Yeah, But mine was 10 years ago.
My baby, my first passport.
You see what I mean? So my documents were not in the new format. And not until after I got it, then I remember them telling me, the next time you come, bring them in the new format, because the new format was already out, but I forgot that.
But even so, for example, you're saying not the new format, because she was nice to you to tell you to, before this goes to the next desk, and I come to pick up my stuff, you don't think at some point in time, there should be somebody there to sit there and say, so and so, I need you to come and get your passport, because some information is missing?
Oh yeah, they have 4 people to do that. There's some people to do that. I met them.
Yes.
Random, but that's
What's the
really
new
good.
cost now?
Huh?
What's the new cost?
50. 50.
It's a visa, it's a visa that's 250.
160. I got that in 2 days.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, it takes long.
You should have gone out, you
Yeah,
better get that
gone
in 2 days.
Yeah, but no, she told me, and then I brought it in the next day, and that was it.
You feel, that's all.
But I mean, I did meet people there
I'm struggling.
who were struggling, and I told them, I said, why don't you just, and see, let me tell you, when, like they say in African movies, when your hand is in the liar's mouth, you have to learn to humble yourself. You can't come in there with an attitude, you see? So they come with an attitude. My daughter's traveling, she's going to school, and I need this, and you are delaying this. And I looking at the man, and the man said, but on one daughter's file, I think he must have had different fathers. And he said, I need the birth certificate of that one, I need the birth certificate of that one. And your birth certificate is in the old form, so I need it, that to be done. And then she said, well, something she wrote on, he said, but I need all of it. That's what I'm saying. When she told me, she said, your birth certificate has to be redone. She said, otherwise it's going to stop. And I look at her, because I was thinking now I can get my passport soon. So what is this now? I went straight to the registrar and got it, and brought it right back the next day.
And the registrar
No
don't take
problem.
long these days.
No, quick. But if you could stand there and argue and say, but it there, I could see it on the screen, why can't you accept it? You have a problem.
So what about the payments you don't read, and the birth certificate say one thing and the ID say something else?
Oh, they
and
need
sign in,
affidavits.
They sign
They need
in something
affidavits.
entirely different.
And they are, I met at the
You gotta say it right,
registrar.
they need an affidavit.
Yeah, after David.
After they.
I met at the registrar yesterday. A lot of Bahamians who went to apply for passports. And their names are spelled, one guy says his name is spelled Jeffrey, but he always had his Jeffery. So he needed an affidavit. But all the lawyers are standing up right outside, they're ready to write them up.
That's a simple one.
Mhm.
Some of
I
them,
when I went to them,
the
see that
birth
happened to
certificate says
me.
Christine, but their name is Lisa.
Yeah,
There was somebody in there,
and I met some people who never had a birth certificate in their
I
life.
didn't ever go back.
Or the incorrect dates of birth.
There's a lot of mistakes happen, a lot of mistakes.
So you need to start signing just with that passport, say, what's up?
I know somebody that does that.
Yeah.
His name.
It doesn't make any sense sometimes what you have to go through.
Yeah,
His
you have
name
a
is-
document, you
yeah.
change it into whatever.
Because when you get an
The
affidavit,
passport is
affidavit has
completely
to be
different from
registered.
his real name. So he buys his tickets and does
That's
all
another
he needs to
process.
do in what his
With the ID,
passport,
yeah.
his
That's
bank
one
accounts
month.
and everything, and what his passport have, but that ain't his name.
Yeah.
You
But
should
what I'm
put
saying
that
is,
long
and that's why they're trying to regularize all of these things, because there's so many people with the same name.
They sent me to the site.
So, yeah. So that's just
They
what
crazy
I'm
with that.
They make fun of me.
Yeah. But I figured once you do it once and you get it in right now, you'll be straight.
What annoys me is that, like, to renew my daughter's passport, the passport office only open Monday to Friday, certain hours, just school hours. I have to take it with me to renew my passport.
Yes, everybody does it.
You were supposed to do that in the summer when you
Yes.
was out for 2 months.
No, but we were traveling, so I needed it.
Oh, okay. See, that's
One
your problem.
I have no, but you know what it is in the passport office.
I
Someone
see
you don't
people-
get it back.
I see
But the passport
people-
wasn't up till October, so now I'm gonna do it.
You don't have to
You don't
wait
have to
until
wait.
until it's out.
Travis, I wasn't putting that in.
That's
I
what
need
they
my
said.
passport in August.
They don't
To
keep
travel.
that. They don't
They don't keep it.
You could have still had the
You could still
passport
go to
on
go
your
and travel
application.
while you're waiting on the
You
new
could have put
one.
that in.
When you get the new one, then they will cancel it.
Oh, for some reason I thought they
You
said
don't, you don't wait until it
And you have to be
expires.
careful. You can travel on your passport after 6 months, but it depends on
No.
how they feel.
And let me tell you something.
Because if they ain't in that mood, they'll tell you can't travel.
But guess what? I had to,
Then after
because we
that
were
fire-
going on a thing now.
No, within that 6 months.
We were going on a cruise. That is an actual rule, but that only applies to certain countries, and the Bahamas is not on that list because we have pre-clearance.
Mm-hmm.
And they say your passport you has to be valid within 6 months of travel or they turn you away.
Right.
And when I booked my cruise, the travel agent here told me that, and I called the people in the airport, whether it is border control.
Mm-hmm.
I called one evening, and one man tell me something, then he's listened, and he probably say, "Oh, you could be alright," but he didn't give me the explanation. So I get up 4 o'clock the next morning. I call again and I can get an answer. And a lady answered and she explained it to me. She said the Bahamas is not one of those countries and that applies to.
Well, I know Bahamian just left to go to the United States and their passport expired in 2 months and they told them, you're not traveling on this when you come back.
When you come back. To come
When she
home.
come to go back.
Oh yeah.
So it depends.
Yeah, because it can
Because they
expire
want you-
They can, yeah, while you're there.
While you're there,
Watching,
yeah.
because they watch the frequency of
Yeah,
everyone doing.
yeah.
They watching that.
Oh yeah, they log all the visits to the United States, everything. You just go on the site and you can see.
See? That's it. It's saying.
Mm-hmm. Everything. They know when you leave, when you come back, when you transit.
Say you exactly when you leave.
So when you go for your interview, they're gonna ask you, how many times do you go? Why do you go? What do you spend? How do you support yourself? What business are you in?
I used to get Raggy taken.
All those kind of questions they'll ask you.
Twice a month.
Kill him. So that's back to automation. So that's the way of life. Y'all have plenty of things to do.
Nobody's getting them documents better in those offices.
Huh?
Nobody's getting them better in those offices.
So section 29, subsection 2, the share register may be in such form as the directors may approve. And see, that's another thing. You can't tell a company how to write the register. Because the act doesn't say there's a particular form. It says, as the directors may approve, and it could be electronic, magnetic, or other data storage form. The company shall be able to produce legible evidence of its contents. Does it see anybody say it has to be stamped
What do you mean magnetic?
on the film thing?
Oh.
Yeah. So it doesn't say that anywhere. So you can never argue that it has to be in this format because this is the format. There's no format. It's whatever
They choose, so
they
long as it's a
choose.
list
As long as it's a list.
showing the dates.
And it says the share register shall be prima facie evidence of any matters directed or authorized by this act to be contained therein. So once you get the share register, that is it. So it says where the RBC is limited by guarantee, the term share register shall mean register of members. Because remember we did by shares or by guarantee. Go to section 44, subsection 1. The register of directors and officers. The company shall keep a register, be known as a register of directors and officers, containing the names and addresses of the persons who are directors and officers of the company, the date on which each person whose name is entered in the register was appointed, so you know there's a column for that. And the date on which each person as a director or officer ceased to be a director, so there's one for that, one for when you start and one for when you cease to be. The register of directors may be in such form as the directors approve. Again, there's no standard. The register of directors and officers commencing from the date of the registration of the company shall be kept at the registered office. A copy of the register of directors and officers shall be filed with the registrar and shall be open to inspection by members. Now you see this one say, what does it say? That's the one that should be filed. Register of directors and officers. And then they said the register is proof. The register of a company shall be filed with the registrar within 12 months after the appointment of the directors of officers. So each year, you would submit the register of officers and directors. And where the register is not being filed, within the time specified, the company may be struck off the register, but that doesn't happen. A notice of change in the directors and officers of an IBC shall be filed with the registrar within 12 months after such change occurs.
Okay, now this is the, code you're referring to here, but what about in their regulations, do they have further, wouldn't they have further guidance in here, like you're saying some things don't have to be stamped, isn't it, the potential for them to, in the regulations, say certain things have to be in a particular format? It's like, they'll have the act, but then when you go to regulations, then they go on and get into specifics.
Oh, it's not for this.
Okay.
No. I know what you mean, but it's not for this.
Okay.
None whatsoever. Section 67. A company shall keep financial statements, accounts and records as the directors consider necessary or desirable in order to reflect the financial position of the company. That also has to be kept at the registered office, along with a copy of the memo and acts, directors and officers. And notice, you see what it says, what else you should keep?
Seal.
A common seal. And an imprint thereof shall be kept at the registered office of the company. So it says you shall have one, but the physical seal doesn't have to be in the office, just the imprint. A member in section 68, a member of a company may, in person or by attorney, and in furtherance of a proper purpose, request in writing, specifying the purpose to inspect during normal business hours, the share register of the company, the books, records, minutes, and consents kept by the company. You see all the things they can see, and make copies. For the purposes of subsection 1, a proper purpose is a purpose reasonably related to the member's interest as a member. If a request is submitted by an attorney for a member, the request shall be accompanied by a power of attorney authorizing the attorney to act for the member. And if the member, by resolution of directors, determines that it is not in the best interest of the company or any other member of the company to comply with the request, it will be refused.
The trust is like that too, with the beneficiaries are requesting something, like when they want the minutes of the trustee meetings and stuff like that, if it's not within a reasonable request, can be denied.
Yeah, I think under section 83, Trustee Act, you don't give them minutes, especially for the deliberations.
Charges, I can't do it like that, okay.
You can't?
I gotta go to, the subsection paragraph 2, line 3, word 10, no.
Under the IBC accounting records order,
But that's what I was saying, for
Mhm.
class, like, okay, I don't mind further learning, I need exams. I'll write a paper any day just to show that I have an understanding of it. Cause when I do work, all these things in my desk, and they highlighted and they sticky. So anything I did, just a minute,
and you go and find it.
and I go and find it. And I have my notes on my stickies that tell me when I go and I write all my notes. So I don't memorize them like that. So then sit down and have to memorize these on exam, Masacha. Really? At a tertiary education level?
We're not memorizing section, I just telling you what the section is.
But I can't bring my memories in art when my thing on my act with me in the exam. Shoot.
You should have an idea what it says.
Yeah, but it's much I can stand.
No, they do, but don't stretch your brain. Your brain can pop, no it won't.
Yeah, man.
So the IBC order requires IBCs to keep at its registered office a declaration stating that the company is maintaining reliable accounting records and that the accounting records shall be available to its registered agent. So let's look at the fine, section 181. Fine of how much? 10,000. They need to increase that. It's too low. You don't think so?
Indeed.
Should be about 50. $10,000 or imprisonment of 2 years. We need to increase that too. If a person who makes or assists in making a report, return, notice, or other document for submission to the registrar, and it's untrue. And I know some people must have made some by now. You don't think so?
Probably.
But I don't remember no one being in prison or fined.
Coming.
It coming? Okay. Is it
Our
coming?
registrar is, it's not, it's limited and you have to what, pay a fine to have, a fee to have access to it, eh?
To the registry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah,
okay.
he knows all about it.
I know, yeah.
He goes on it all the time.
No, but I mean, so then it's public knowledge, but I don't know.
Yeah, how much it costs to get in?
Yeah.
To the registrar general? Yeah, to get in to go, yeah,
To
to research
access,
a company.
to search something.
Oh, the search, company is $10.
Okay.
By the
Every
hour?
time?
Each search is $10.
Each searches,
Yeah,
And
so
how long you have?
hour.
1 hour.
So if you basically close it out, that's the next
That's
$10.
on the computer or that's,
Yeah, computer.
On the computer.
So we're trying to see if it's a good standing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And you can print it out when you finish, right? Yeah. $10.
To me, I think like, okay, for, like, there should be a corporate fee where you have, let's say, 2 users for a minimum annual fee. And so you could go in as many times as you need to, like
I
that.
think you do have 2 users. You could have 2
Yeah,
users.
but not $10 per search. Like charge a registration fee, an annual fee to use the site.
No, you could be searching a lot of companies. No, we don't make any money like
'Cause
that.
if you go in
It's
there,
per, it's per,
yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
if you
per
go inside there
company.
physically, you'll see $10 with companies.
yeah, it's per company.
Yeah,
So every time you click on a different company, that's a
that's
different
why
fee.
you screenshot it or print it, 'cause
Mhm.
if it's a timeout or you miss and close it out, you can't reopen it. Once
Right.
you close it out, that's it.
So it's like the same ones you were saying, the other ones which you pay for. It's only, you only getting it for one. Once you click on that one, that's it.
Yeah.
You'll have to start again and then pay again for another one. Yeah. Otherwise you won't make any money. And you don't want that, right? So let's see how the exam question comes on this chapter. So I know you all like to hear these exam questions.
Please.
Say it, please.
There's a long questions, actually.
There's a preamble and then there's a question.
That's right. It's as fast as I ever see, all right.
That's page 1. page 53,
So the word after regulatory is?
requirement,
Right here.
That's the
risks.
risk. Look at the regulatory.
Requirements. Last word for you. Very, very last word. Requirement.
Oh, requirement.
That's
The
the
risk.
same. That's the same.
And more. Yeah. Who volunteering?
I got the first cent, this thing right here. They minimize legal and regulatory risks. They minimize legal and record keeping explain the reasons for maintaining such records.
And provide examples of documents. Okay. So how would you start?
Corporate record keeping and maintenance is critical to the establishment of best.
You are not letting me go.
I knew you memorize the hell out of that. Regurgitate that sentence just like so. Opening sentence. So when you have your opening sentence, then you could speak to the fact that the IBC Act in section 37 or 48 or whichever one, okay, and you speak to the sections that speak to the particular documents, the registered office and registered agent and all this.
So you wanna start with section 37 and 38?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You start with
And
section
they're
37
required to
and 38.
maintain.
And and the fact that they are required to maintain and the items that they must have in the offices, what
Okay,
the RO
so-
is supposed to do, what the RA is supposed to
So
do.
this is the requirement that they must have, and then you wanna say the documents that should be
Kept.
by the RA.
Is that just a record of doctor's office?
Everybody keeps saying that, no.
Straight by.
And then so you list up all the corporate, you list up all the corporate documents.
Yeah,
Names,
that's
license,
good.
incorporation, good standing.
Why y'all keep
registers.
saying I write like a doctor, I write
Oh,
so
that's
well?
advantage?
You write so fast, and then you just, it
It's
just
just
keep
going
going
on.
on.
Advantage.
So let me ask you all a question, when you were in high school, what did you do?
Right good.
You took notes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you didn't learn to write fast?
Yes.
Okay. I continue writing fast. I don't understand.
Documents that should be kept by.
Registered agent.
See, that people like, ah.
It is. Examples, what should be maintained by the registered agent?
Your MEMS, your incorporation, your good standing,
With the access? What should they keep?
your MEMS and arts,
What else? What else? What is it in
you
between?
have that?
I have RM, RDO.
Register of members, register of directors and officers,
Uh-huh,
your
what
MEMS
else?
and arts,
I feel the same thing. Registered member.
your a copy of your seal,
And
Imprint.
let us slow
imprint
down.
of your seal,
I feel low.
What I put?
Registered directors.
do you
what?
need register of officers and directors, register of members, register of officers and directors?
Mm-hmm.
Do you need to go into the fact that of what the register should have?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
That ain't a question. What happened in the back here?
Do you need to speak to the fact that the register of directors should be filed annually?
Say section 37, 38,
You probably just used the word
Hold on,
card.
but
Hold on.
Current.
You can't read that?
a memorandum of association, right?
Yes.
Do you need to speak to the annual filing?
What that is after that?
No way.
Mm-mm.
Okay, good.
The seal.
So what
That's
explain the
imprint of the
reasons,
seal.
okay. Explain the reasons maintaining such records and provide examples of documents.
Okay, so what's the reason for maintaining these records?
Evidence of ensure limited liability protection.
Mm-hmm. So we had 1, 2,
2, 3, 4,
3,
5.
4, 5.
Uh-huh.
right?
Okay.
And then it asks you for something else.
Provide examples of documents that would be required as a legal or regulatory requirement.
Mm-hmm. So what documents are required legally?
You mean the statutory or corporate document?
What?
That ain't the documents we list? I thought just one.
Yeah,
Oh, we
Certificate-
supposed to come back to
certificate
that,
of,
we never
corporation.
listed, that was
No,
number 2, right? The statutory.
That requires
legal,
a
Right,
legal
remember they
or-
said we'd come
yeah,
back?
we're supposed to
Yeah.
come
Yes.
The corporate certificate of corporation.
No,
We have the corporate documents now?
Where you?
back. It's number 2.
yeah.
Regulatory?
Remember when we did number 2 at the very beginning on the
That
page?
was
Should I say
signed.
we'll come back to that?
Yeah.
Right, we're gonna put them here now.
Oh.
Yes. So what are the legal documents? Let me help you all out.
The MEMS and arts, your
Mhm.
corporate document package.
Yeah. What else?
Statutory,
What I say?
is that your
Sorry,
shell?
what I say?
Certificate of
MEM and
Yeah.
arts and incorporation.
What I say?
MEM and arts and incorporation.
Oh.
Lord and
Certificate of good standing.
Compliance.
Compliance.
I was
Certificate of
gonna say-
compliance.
I wrote it down
Oh,
for them.
I can see it.
Oh, you can't see they see there's CC.
You just hacking them from
Okay, Ms. Archer.
yes.
MEMS and arts, certificate of
That says-
incorporation, certificate of compliance.
Hold on a minute.
So-
Okay.
Minute. Legal documents.
Mm-hmm.
What is the rest?
M&A. INC. And then CC. You got this, eh? Yeah, see?
We missing something.
Yes, we're missing some stuff.
You need your shareholder,
Memorize
No.
that, 'cause,
shareholder agreement,
no,
statutory.
no, that's the first part of it, where you said, this is, it's some for the directors, so, the directors address it, who they are, it's the third
Being
one.
the register of directors.
Yeah, that's the third one.
That's here. You put that here. What other legal document you need?
don't know.
It was to get some security commission, the FAPS,
No, but
If
I
I
would,
see
I
you-
wouldn't need that to do this.
No.
oh,
No.
they're trying to put that back in now.
What else?
That's the,
That part,
The
that's
members, but they didn't
registered
show-
mortgage.
Mm-hmm. What you gonna say?
the members, you gotta sort of shareholder too.
What?
Jesus.
You guys remember, you gotta sort of shareholder,
Mhm.
cause you need a director and a shareholder for IBC.
Both.
What?
What else you need?
What you just read? ROD?
RS and ROD.
They really ain't missing something that.
Yeah, something missing.
That's simple.
All I can see is writing, but I don't see what else we
Oh, we
need.
can look back here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see if I can give you all the section.
The agreement,
Mm-hmm. Got it?
the shareholder agreement.
Yes.
I asked you that
I didn't hear you.
Okay.
Section
in the legal
41.
docs.
Yeah, section
Yeah.
41.
Now, she ain't set up mine, I know.
Look at me, look at me.
That was you just right there.
Yeah, let me show you.
Yes. Don't write United States of America.
Too late.
wrong with the two of them in the back, really now.
Alright, and then, reasons for making
Anything else?
Oh, should I find the wrong?
Unanimous.
Right there.
You manage unanimous shareholder agreement.
Mm.
Business services, pay traffic. And then, number two.
Anything else?
Examples of documents
Oh, you can finish that first, I can see that. Or you get some more.
required.
MB?
MB, break it down a little bit more.
Then MB?
Girl, I broke right down.
What's MB? MB? Yes, that's right.
What it is?
The minute book.
Oh, man.
I was thinking that.
You thinking that too?
Miss
Yeah, but it's,
Archer. We go on some portrait.
I think I speak for
Minute
myself.
book, same one. I could change it.
I think I speak for myself on behalf of myself.
but,
I read the whole class and I do not feel like I did.
What did you write this down? What did you just write?
I put minute book, but she said they normally call theirs board book, so I just changed it to BB.
Oh.
Leave it in minute book.
But the book really,
I
I
read the
think
whole
it's,
class, Archer.
Regulatory.
You're not making me feel good about myself.
20 minutes.
well, I know you keep minutes, but I mean, it's just like, isn't it like, in turn, like, that's the, well, that's the trust. Cause if you're doing a transfer, the minute would go to the next company, but it's a trust, they can't go to.
Right, but remember now, it says that if a member wishes to see the documents, that is one of the documents they can see, a minute book. Yes, that says again, take copies. Yeah, because right.
Cause if you're doing a transfer, you would take copies, but they get the original minutes,
Oh,
so you would have to transfer your records.
Okay. I'm not? Why? What you mean? This is exactly what's in the chapter. This isn't what's in the chapter? Who agrees with her?
I ain't even feel nothing like that.
What you mean not like that? This is not what's in
I
the
guess,
chapter?
Like,
Say what?
You know, somebody read.
Is this what's in the chapter?
The 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is not elaborated.
yeah,
No,
they
in
ain't,
the
yeah,
chapter.
they ain't lot, no, you just
You have them stated,
Mhm.
put
but
it in and.
like number
Right.
1 and number 2, I had to write notes for those.
That's
That 3, 4, and 5, I was okay with.
Mm-hmm.
But 1 and 2, when you asked the question, I was lost. I was grasping at straws to answer 1 and 2.
You didn't sound lost. You sound like you
I was rambling then.
She's
No,
rambling.
yeah.
She's
Rambling,
rambling.
nothing.
Answer.
You was rambling off the answers.
I'm telling you.
But 1 and 2, I wasn't comfortable with. Let me say that.
Okay, would you comfortable now with 1 and 2?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. What's 1?
You say, hold on. You wanna go back there? You say for 1, the MEMS and I's tell you. Sorry, go
She in the
ahead.
back there, she said, she read this, but she lost. What's 1? With brackets.
Now, I wasn't here for this part, so it's
So
probably
what?
why I still.
To the option.
She actually objected to stuff and wasn't here.
Memorandum of Association, shareholders
I read that
register.
part, I read this part, I read that part, I read this part.
This is the same information, just put it a different way.
But don't write a description.
You have to sign it, I don't believe
But I can't write the words up long, there's insufficient space.
Yeah, but at least give it letters. I don't know.
I
I look like USA.
Yeah.
Unanimous, show.
BB. Flag of Bahamas. Give
No.
me a shot.
Oh. Board binder. Why all of this complaints?
No, I get the first part, is this part where you lost me.
We're here.
The
The
whole
bottom
thing.
piece.
That whole thing from you start with the briefing, because I thought that S was a 5, to be honest with
Yes.
you. No, when you start with section 37 and 38,
Yeah.
I thought it was a 5.
Then you were not listening.
Probably.
Why did we put this here?
That's the act,
Section
that is the
34.
act,
I
that's
like
that,
that.
and you're
Okay.
asking
Let's
of
do
that.
the agent, public and records.
Well, see how 5 looks versus an S?
I get that now, I get it now,
Okay.
but when you was asking the question and everything else, I was a bit lost. But I get it now.
You found now.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Ms. Archie, go back to number 1.
Okay.
You said M&A tells you the objects and the powers of the directors, right?
Mm-hmm,
The
mm-hmm.
shareholders list the number of shares held, and so it was a company it was a limited liability company, then they only liable for their capital injection, and then you had a
Yeah.
third one. Something else you say, I miss it, I write and I miss it.
I mean,
For the-
it tells what they can and can't do.
So that's the M&A.
That's the M&A.
Limited liability protection.
Yeah, you had a third point, M&A, the shareholders register,
And unanimous
and then, yeah,
USA.
so what that does,
Unanimous shareholder agreement. Where's your act?
right here.
Go to section. Where is that? 41. See, whispering in the back there again.
Brenda, how would you figure over there?
They don't know we can hear them, eh? We can hear you all, you know.
You joking?
No, we serious. She think I'm joking. Tell her.
They'll learn.
They'll learn. All the shareholders of a company among themselves or on all the shareholders of a company, and a person who is not a shareholder of a company may by a written agreement restrict in whole or in part the powers of the directors of the company to manage the business and affairs of the company, and any such agreement, if not otherwise invalid, shall be valid. A shareholder who is a party to any unanimous shareholder agreement has all the rights, powers, and duties, and incurs all the liabilities of a director of the company to which the agreement relates. To the extent that the agreement restricts the discretion or powers of the directors to manage the business affairs of the company, and the directors are hereby relieved of their duties and liabilities to the same extent.
Okay, so now say it like how you say it.
Oh, who's-
So we have to answer this question, to ensure limited liability protection for limited liability companies,
Mhm.
the M's and A's, which are the objects and powers of the directors.
Mm-hmm.
The shareholder register lists the number of shares held by each individual, indicating their capital, I don't say limitations.
Yeah.
Like you said, but they limited by the amount of capital they
Uh-huh.
inject. And the unanimous shareholder agreement, which,
I
say
figured
it
that's
in
right.
layman terms. Say it. I want you to say it.
Why you want me to say it?
Cause I read it, but I want you to say it, cause the way you say it, then you remember it better, so say it. Say it, cause this legalese has confused me, I read that 10 times, say it.
The unanimous shareholder agreement limits the powers and duties of the directors and also gives you the powers of the shareholders and the extent of their liability.
Okay,
It's actually re-up and I need to use for the
unanimous
first part of the
shareholder
exam.
agreement.
What do you mean the first part?
Cause I see we have 2 exams.
Yeah, Miss what woman them giving you a review?
Indicate the powers
Limits the
and duties
power.
of directors, gives the powers of shareholders
can't
and limits
talk
the
about
powers.
it.
I'm talking so fast.
Sorry.
Slow it down.
Please.
Jeez,
What? What happened?
it's done
You're
right
spitting
there.
this like a rock man.
Repeat that again, please.
Read it off,
Yeah, it's not too fast.
she's gonna, not her, she's gonna read it off. She's just showing you. Read it. Read it out aloud.
For the unanimous shareholder agreement, you say it restricts the powers and duties of the directors, gives the powers of the shareholders, and you say something about the liabilities.
Ready, write that down?
Restricts the
Can
power.
I write that down?
Right there, that's all, read that one out, yeah? Read it.
Alright, according to, anyway, a unanimous shareholder agreement is an agreement that is among all the
Sorry,
shareholders.
where are you reading from?
She just looked up the
I
definition.
just looked it
Oh,
up.
Make it simple.
okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, read it.
A unanimous shareholder agreement is an agreement that is among all the shareholders of a corporation and that restricts the powers of directors to manage or supervise the management of the business and affairs of the corporation.
Is that inside this trust book here?
That's only one
This
line.
company?
Mm.
Yeah,
That's
so
just-
a
that's
short
just
definition.
Subsection 1.
But you gave us 3 things, that, which is restrict the powers and
Mhm.
duties of the directors. 2 was give the powers of the shareholders, and you said something else
So
about
the next part
liability.
of, the next part about the
Subsection
unanimous
one.
shareholders agreement is that any director any shareholder that signs it, any shareholder that signs a USA,
Just how that sound.
Mm-hmm.
he has all the rights and duties and liabilities of a director. What I'm on? No, you ain't got me because you looking at
Has
me
the
like
powers?
That's
Uh-uh.
all the rights and powers.
rights, powers, and duties and liabilities of a director. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
So what happened?
We can do the review.
Yeah, Ms. Dawson will do the review.
She can do it like I used to it.
What do you mean if you do how we do it?
What number two is give the what? Give the powers.
Hey, 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 hey.
Sorry,
Focus.
can you repeat that, please?
Huh?
Number two?
Who?
Gives the powers of shareholders.
Thank you.
Are we doing the questionnaire?
Hmm?
Doing these questions?
No.
Oh.
We still answering the question
Still
from
answer
the
the question
board.
on board.
Rights, powers, duties, and liabilities.
What happened? Where
Y'all
you?
see number 1 and 2 in there? I saw-
From here.
We looking at this.
Oh,
This,
Yeah.
this answers the part of the question when
Oh,
say,
all I said
explain
was-
the reasons for
No,
maintaining
she
such
came back to
records.
number 2 because
Oh.
she said she wasn't too clear.
Oh.
What happened to you tonight? You are giving some accolades.
That's enough, you all out.
But he looking for more.
Ms. Archer, elaborate on number 2 especially please. The reason ensuring statutory, legal and regulatory compliance. I have the examples of the documents, but I started to say when I was answering it to make sure that what you have in your documents is in line with what is required legally and regulatory in that jurisdiction. I
Yeah.
would say that.
Mm-hmm. And then number 3, to allow shareholders to be able to inspect corporate documents properly and adequately, which means that everything must be filed and filed correctly and be up to date.
Filed correctly and
Be up to date, yes.
Filed.
Because remember, they have the right to inspect.
Correctly and.
What is all of this in the back here?
I don't know what's up with
With them too, hey?
Me what?
To make sure it's filed correctly and up to date. To represent current and accurate information of the company, that's the audited or unaudited financial.
So I could take this question and turn it around an opposite way and ask you, what are the minimum legal and regulatory requirements to operate an IBC?
Alternately,
Yeah, it could be different ways.
But Sam,
It's the same thing.
what it is, so the alternate question is, what are the legal and regulatory requirements to do what?
What are the minimum requirements to meet the legal and regulatory obligations under the IBC Act? Yeah, that's the minimum requirements right here.
we still gotta do 4 and 5.
We did 4 and 5 already at the very beginning. Where were you?
We just clarifying number 2
Yeah.
that one time.
Mhm.
We'll come back.
Yeah, I said we'll come back.
I got 4 and 5.
We got that. We good? Everybody feel whoopie doopie?
I don't got 5.
You don't have 5?
Wait for financial statements.
Financial statements,
Audited or unaudited?
audited and unaudited. We good?
Mm-hmm.
What? Anyhow,
Oh, so them things you could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is music.
yes ma'am.
Oh, okay then, see?
Uh-huh. Yes, that's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What you say?
I will put that in.
Right, I gotta look at your book.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 was the response for explaining the reasons for maintaining such records.
Yeah, I didn't even know that's what she meant.
I
Yeah,
just
say
think
that.
you wrote more than me, so
You should have said so.
I'm wrong with somebody.
All right, so let's begin our introduction for Saturday class, so I can get you a warm up,
Hold on.
a as to where I want you to be.
This here, this is proper.
It depends on how it's worded. You can actually word it in a way whereby it does.
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
The section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we talk about here, would
Mhm.
that, only that section be the response to this alternate question, or would it be all of this still?
When you speak to the minimum requirement, you would say why
Of
you
record
need it.
keeping, when regards of
Yeah,
record
you would
keeping,
explain why you need it. So it's like taking it and doing it in reverse.
same answer.
Okay, so our next topic is on client due diligence requirements,
What it should be this?
Yeah.
KYC. And so, what happened again? What again? Oh, I thought you was going. What do you do at work? So you do client due diligence. Good. Then you do client due diligence. And you do client
What
due
about people who
diligence.
ain't do it?
So we can get to you.
Okay.
You
They've
do
all
it.
been playing somewhere.
Semi.
Something like that.
You do it. You do it. What would you? See, he ain't focus even. Client due diligence. What happened to you today?
It's been a rough day, Miss Ashley.
A long day. It's only 24 hours. It doesn't extend. Excuses, excuses. All right. So let me see how I can make this exciting. Say what?
I just have,
Say what?
I just have a bunch of wrap-ups, so I was able to.
Don't listen to the Mutton Jeff in the back. Focus.
You asked them if they knew what you there for.
I don't know if they know, but
Don't go there. Show you.
I need someone to present on filing an STR.
That's part of that.
You wanna do that one? Yes?
I like her for that job.
We talk about now.
No, this is on Saturday.
She got
That's the last thing.
STR.
Mm-hmm.
So Ms. Archer,
Yes.
that date that we were talking about prior to today, that's still confirmed, right?
What you talking about? We're on chapter 6. Focus.
The date.
For the exam review or something.
Oh, yeah, where am I?
I need someone to tell me onboarding an individual versus onboarding a corporate client. All right, let's go.
Oh, Lord.
Wait.
That can get
how much-
complex, Miss
how much
Asher.
That's all right.
questions- How much questions you gonna look at this issue now, cause I want to have third one before I actually raise my hand.
You will see if you have a better option, eh?
Which one do you want to do? Which one you can do? Individual?
I guess so, the individual.
You do that one. Corporate?
I don't do both.
You don't do corporate.
I don't do both. Maybe it's a little pennies, what ends?
I'll do corporate.
Corporate, name, rank, and serial number. What your name is? Change your name.
Serial number. Turn to the side. Thank you.
And that's what Cosby get now. That's the number.
That's
So let's say,
But I know
guess
her
you should have
name.
talked about that 20 years ago.
Serena.
You're not on this list.
I send the register back over to me, put my name on the list.
What she always all about? I need someone to talk about the penalties. To put in the pictures.
And she minds her own business.
She mean to do that.
Penalties as it relates to what?
Penalties on the poker.
All these is chapter 6?
Yes, chapter 6 is long.
Section
2018.
15 of POCA.
2018. We're doing 2018.
I'll do the penalties with the STR, cause it's in the same page, page 65.
Okay. I need someone to speak about the predicate crimes.
Who?
What?
She knows.
Predicate crime.
She knows.
She got that down.
What your name is again?
What your name is?
Matt?
No. Mutt? Mutt?
You call him Martin Jeff?
What your name is?
I think I'm number 7.
Letitia?
Sorry, 8.
No, give me 4 me.
No. You're Gladstone? That's why I'm over there.
Number 6.
My name is Melissa.
Oh, I figured that. Gladstone, you want to talk about what is money laundering?
Oh man.
He gets the easy one.
Oh, Lord. And you were waiting, eh?
Hmm?
You were waiting to see what's next?
Not really, man.
Why don't you talk about PAPS?
That's,
Oh, man.
oh yeah, man, you write that down.
Yeah.
I get 2 easy ones. No, I swear.
And then, let's see what else we can talk about. I need someone to talk about enhanced due diligence.
Can I switch?
Oh.
No. No, she's on penalties.
I thought you was doing penalties.
No, she said she'll just.
Well, you got 2 of them.
You say penalties under POCA. So I think I do POCA and penalties with the STR and POCA on the same page in the text.
What is Pat?
No, everybody needs a chance. That's
Okay,
what
go ahead,
penalties.
carry on. I'm good with that. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Royan. Page 65 to the text. Thank you.
So that mean I gotta read.
Tanya?
Enhanced due diligence.
That's what I said.
You'll do that along with predicate crimes?
Sure, Miss Archer. Anything for you.
No, she could do it. Yeah, you.
To do what? What's the document?
Enhanced due diligence. That's Letitia. Okay. Anybody I miss out? Yes, you. I ain't miss out. Let's see.
Kind of odd number that is. What happened to 10 or 15?
Yeah.
That's what they came up at. That must have what they found around. I want you to talk about financial crime.
Financial crime.
Go to the central bank website and you will see a GFSR paper on financial crime. Go to the central bank website, AML guidelines, there's a section on enhanced due diligence.
What you say? I say it. What was that?
Go to central bank website and you'll see under bank supervision, under guidelines, you'll see a guidance on financial crime.
Where are they taking it? Penalties? Who's doing penalties?
Penalties come from POCA,
And who's doing it?
General directive.
penalties,
Where's she doing it from? Poker?
she's doing it from POCA. Should I add in the FTRA, FTRR, and FTWR?
And Central Bank.
There you go.
I like all that. I like that well. I need that.
Y'all know what all those acronyms mean, right?
What?
POCA proceeds to crime.
I know Poker.
FTRR, FTRA, FTRWR,
FT what? FTI? Yeah, you only want to help us out, Joe. What that one is?
Financial Transaction Wire Regulations.
Oh,
Wire?
fire
Yeah.
regulations.
Yeah.
But that's like a that's not a, that's an, yes, it's an act in
Yes,
itself, yeah.
Grants Act, yeah. And then you also have the Anti-Terrorism Act. They're all 2018, it's a whole suite, yeah, there's a whole suite. FIU is being amended now.
I don't like the fact that our FIU is only, our FIU is only an informative FIU.
Yeah, but they say they don't wanna come out of the norm of what the Edmund group wants. They're part of a group, but they have to
Yeah,
put some teeth
but
into
under
it.
the Edmund group, you have FIUs that have, criminal arms, not criminal arms,
They say that's
they
why
get
they have the
prosecuted.
police. They send it to the police.
Yeah, cause they only take it to a certain
The
point.
stand and then it
hand
goes to
it
the
over.
police, yeah.
And they are terrible, that's another place you don't
Yeah,
get no
yeah,
response
no.
from.
I'm
I
telling
don't
you, they
know.
like a year behind.
No.
Yeah, they.
Yes.
I
I'm
filed
telling
one
you.
and I got an answer in a month.
No, they say they receive it, that's
I
about
got an
it.
answer, not a receipt.
I got a request for information.
I got an answer.
A year later.
No, I remember a year ago, 2 years ago, maybe I'm so far back, having a situation, and we were chasing them because the client was sending in instructions, can we
But
get a
even when I
response,
was
can we
at
get a
my former
response?
job, we never had that. We send them like that, responses came like that.
We never used to get them.
Maybe your money too small, I talk with quick.
No.
Yeah, but we
I couldn't get no
Oh, I have someone could do something for me.
Anybody else, only you?
What section
No,
you
where's
doing?
Miss
No.
Lauren?
Yeah, where is she? No,
She doesn't come on
she
Thursday.
doesn't come on Thursdays.
Let them know what her role is, yeah.
Yeah,
Did anybody print their cases there?
I printed the ones I could have found.
You know, let me let her do what's money laundering. Someone sent her an email. No, I give her something else to do.
I mean, I can switch it on.
No, that's too easy.
That's easy. Let her do it. I want you to do the highlights on the section on wealth in Proco. The wealth orders. No, it won't.
If you know your stuff.
If you know your stuff.
Bullet point.
If you are prepared, if you're onboarding an individual, when you come to class, you should have your check sheet ready. And your source document as to where you got it from.
Textbook page 65. Yes, right there.
Okay? So, who's gonna send her an email?
What's that?
Please.
Please be reminded.
Yeah, please be reminded to do
I
penalties.
feel like over there, so.
Okay, so
Sorry,
we done?
hey, hold on, Cynthia. My sticky can go in the face of my phone. Where are you? Your number again? Does it get my work number?
They'll tell you when you do another assignment, but if you're not
No, I
moving.
got it.
Oh, you're not this phone?
Contacts. Give me the number. I sure you have this number. 427.
27.
27.
45.
That's weird.
I
On my
know.
phone, it came up. When I was saying it last time, but
You
I
must be
crashed.
had it on a SIM card or something on there.
Maybe in the phone and not on the SIM
I went to
card.
class to them last
Ah,
week.
last
Last night, I walked in there, they said, oh, they're really not going to do it. I'm only substituting. So they said, oh,
For this class, no?
no, she took that class. They said, we're waiting on a review. I said, okay. I said, I'm only substituting. So I was saying anyhow, but since you're waiting on a review, let's start.
4282745.
I gave them a review.
Yeah.
And let her tell you what they do.
Miss Archer.
How was your eyes? Yes, Yeah, I heard you were there.
How you in? I don't talk in our business.
Don't
What
worry
you
about
hear?
that.
What did you hear?
That, thing, Thompson, I think, was sick and you
Yeah.
gave it.
And then what did they say?
I'm burning.
That's it.
They didn't whine like this one in the back here?
I didn't say that when you came yesterday. I was trying to help you. Give me something. I try and get
They
something off
whine.
you.
I mean, they actually said they came for a review. They were waiting on nuggets. No, they said, what did they say? They actually give you all nuggets?
It's need nuggets.
Nuggets.
Yeah, nuggets. He type all these little notes and he give it to them. And
Who's with that?
I have mine from I did it here.
You did
I
it?
still have
Your
it.
little nuggets?
Yeah.
Were they useful?
Yes, Mr.
I
What's his
don't
name?
get rid of anything, Stephen.
James and Thompson, yes.
Yeah.
I still have mine too.
But I don't give nuggets.
Yeah, you just give nuggets.
You just give nuggets, you just ain't typing them out.
I'm not typing out
And
no
hey,
nuggets.
and you better be able to write as fast as you talk.
Right, read.
See, she laughing in the back. Did I give you any nuggets last night?
Miss Archer, I wanted you to be there, you know. I did not mind. I wanted you to be there.
She didn't ask the
So
question.
No.
no, there wasn't no nuggets. It was more complex questions than this one that she put on the board.
But we can need nuggets for this.
Exactly.
But ICA, well, I mean, I don't know how it's structured now, but they have the past questions and how you should answer it. They have all of that on their site.
It's on the site, and I tell you
I
too,
all of that I
listen to
downloaded. I still
those
haven't saved.
those
Yeah.
videos, tutorials,
Yeah.
the webinars, listen to them. Some of the exam questions is come direct from them webinars.
I
They
was trying to
recycle the
get
same
Miss
questions.
Archer. I know if you could do it to give me a couple answers. But she wasn't trying to.
She don't give you the answers. She'll help you with the structure, and if you write the answer, she'll read it for you, but she ain't giving you the answer.
No.
Oh.
And they had somebody there walking in the class with what's the section?
So what? And this it,
They pay or the company pay for them to stay in the city?
You have to be serious. So at the end of the class, they say, I'm frightening them. I said, I'm not frightening you because it's not easy.
No, but that's what the exam is.
You don't want at the end of 9 months to fail.
What class is it?
ICA.
ICA. Money laundering.
Uh,
You have to study.
yep.
Anti-money
You
laundering.
can carry all the things
And
in
terrorist
that
financing
exam
and proliferation
with
of
you,
weapons of mass
but if
destruction.
you don't know where to find your stuff, you will spend more time searching.
Weapons.
I still have my binder, just like how this look. And I put all my little things on the side there, but you have to know what you're looking for.
Can you still do
Yeah.
that?
You
Can
will
like
lose
whatever,
time, but
whatever
then-
you can take and print?
Mhm.
Yeah. And you organize your sections of SDRs.
You know what
put
we
everything
did?
but SDRs in
You
one
know what we
section.
did? We had
Get
a
your
cluster
four
for our
questions
exam,
ready.
it was 5 of us. And for the topics that we were told would be coming on the exam, questions to look out for, we each went through past papers and pick a different, let's say, whatever the topic was on, I don't know, due diligence. But we picked 5, for the 5 of us, each person took a different question on due diligence and wrote the answer and shared them. So no matter what questions come, you had a question database from which
So
to
you could
pull
write
from.
from.
So they do give you like they narrow it down to what to expect.
The lecturer,
they?
I mean,
The
the
lecturer?
lecturer,
It's only so many
Like,
topics,
yeah, only
like
so
how
many
we
topics
divvy
you
it up
can
in here,
take.
it's only so many topics.
So just like how we broke down this chapter. And so
Same
let's say
way.
you go into past questions and each of us pick a different past question to write. And then you share the answers.
Oh.
And so then you read, and then also it helps you to read somebody else's perspective, because something you might not think of the flow of something or how to configure something in your answer. Then you have a whole bank of questions from which to pull from.
And log that in
And
the
then
exam.
in there,
Yes.
time management is the next thing, so you don't run out of time.
The exam is marked harder.
Hard.
Yeah. But the whole idea is for you to be able to understand the concept of what you write.
Because you could write a
you
whole
could have
thing and
all
you
of
could miss
that.
the question
Right.
altogether.
You
You'll be able
already
to
did
understand the
Yeah, I
question.
did mine 2 years ago. 3 years
You did it
ago.
here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only thing I'm doing.
I tell you I want to
Exams
ask.
on the same level as that?
They had a good class.
It counts as multiple choice.
This, I see it's much better than it
This is multiple
It
choice.
counts as just pure multiple choice. I found the ICA to be
Yeah.
You wouldn't advise taking exams.
No, some organizations
ask for both.
For both. Some would just say you could take 8 exams. But I can tell you, if you just do 8 exams and you work in an offshore bank, sometimes even in a commercial bank, you will have to deal with a lot of issues. You won't know how to analyze complex issues.
That is very true. That is very true. I had that experience.
Because when you do ICA, you have complex issues.
And with the ICA, it is required that they tell you, how I'd say, in a section in a jurisdiction of your choice, and you have to speak to the local legislation and regulation
And it
and
puts you
best
in
practice.
The, it puts you in the
That's a
chair as an
question
NLRO
Ms. Archer
or
gave
as,
us
as
last
an
night.
assistant.
That's how the questions
And
are
then-
worded.
With
How do
predicate
you
crime,
deal with
so
it?
she gave me
You see what I'm
some.
saying?
I want to get that.
There's someone essays, but someone problem solving. So it's not multiple choice.
No.
Like saying,
And
what
it's all
documents
handwritten.
are required to be here? Pick A, B, C, D. It's none of that.
It's something
have to
very
think.
similar to this, but more in depth. Something very similar.
No, this isn't right
Right,
here.
this-
You have to
this-
speak
this
to the
same- the same
legislation,
chapter,
the
yeah.
regulation, you pick your jurisdiction, and then based on the question they ask you, you answer, then you answer the core material. And then they give you some questions, they tell you,
don't write nothing.
present a
from the book, you write your
slideshow,
own
so you
words,
get
write your law
points
in
just
own
on your
words.
presentation. If they ask you a question, you have to figure out how it's required for you to answer it, if you have to answer it in memo form. So then you write to, from, date, subject, and
Because
your
if you don't put it in
read,
the right format, points
you
taken
get
off.
points for your format.
Points taken off is not in English. Points taken off is not grammatically correct.
And if you run out of time,
All of that.
make sure you
It's
answer
Have an,
all
and you
your
have an
questions.
outline, so
Even
you
if you
can
have
get a
the
couple of
bullet
points.
points,
Yeah.
if you run out of time and you start a bullet point your last answers, if they can see where your train of thought was, you get the marks. You may not get full marks, but you get
You
marks to
get
pass the
some,
question.
Mhm.
And time, manage your time,
You have to
3
manage your
hours.
time.
How much hours?
3.
3 hours
So
for 4
45
questions.
minutes a question, I think you have like 15 minutes
Four.
to write for.
But
And
the
look here,
difference is, I give you all
practice your
10, but I give
handwriting,
you
because the
short
last thing you
answers.
would want is
This is
somebody
4,
reading
but
your
it's 4
paper and
full
can't
length.
understand what you wrote.
That's the difference.
That's true. That's makes sense, eh?
Yeah. You have
Better not
to,
be
in
handwriting
practicing,
that
in
you-
study,
yeah.
I pass with my handwriting.
in
How long you did that,
studying,
Miss
right?
Asha?
Hmm?
How many years ago?
What?
Yeah, come.
When I did this?
I
When
see.
they start.
Yeah, I see.
No man, 8 years.
She was in the inaugural class.
8 years.
Was it difficult back then?
Cheryl was hard enough.
I don't know, just took the exam.
It's not difficult.
I
it
didn't
requires you
find
to-
it hard, the biggest thing.
You have to be
Be
able to connect
organized,
the
be
dots.
organized
Remember,
going
in every
into it.
question you answer, refer to your legislation, refer to your regulation,
Yeah,
have one
local.
current, one local
Yeah.
in the jurisdiction of the Bahamas. So then you speak, have one best practice thing, and have one current case, and one
Yeah, you have to know
example
what's happening in your
in
environment.
the world,
Yeah, and then
Make up one, something.
Don't make up nothing. 'Cause if
No,
you
but
make up
the
something that doesn't make
difference
any
is that
sense,
you can take your material in.
No, but if you,
Yeah.
So
yeah, but
once
so,
you're ready organized.
there was a question, I didn't have a world case, Miss Archer, but I gave a synopsis and I say under confidentiality I could not speak, but this is the scenario. Jack A, blah,
Oh,
blah,
okay,
blah.
we give it
And
like
I
that.
did it
You
like
must
that.
have got a distinction.
I did not.
What?
No, they
exam
mark
got my
that
ear.
hard, they mark that
I
hard.
got my
Yeah,
ear.
they mark hard.
I know.
And you do 2 papers. plus
And
the
2
exam.
papers in addition to the exam.
I did my 2 papers already.
You passed both, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so you're in
Yeah,
the
'cause
final round.
you have to pass both sections.
I heard for
There's a lot of
governance, we
So
have
after you
3
did your-
papers and no exam.
And no
That's true.
exam.
So
No
you guys
exam.
you got the
Perfect.
job in compliance?
You think
I
so?
moved to compliance before I
Perfect.
did my IC.
Mm-hmm.
I had an
If
opportunity
they
to
change,
move,
if they change
laterally
from
in-house.
2 assignments
So I moved from operations to
and 1
compliance.
exam to 3 assignments, no.
Now that last paper is a kickoff.
That means they know they can grade them all high.
Mhm.
But for me, it's time. You see how you
And
was
guess
giving
what?
us those papers last night? She gave us 3 papers. She coming down. Okay, it's 6:15. You have till 6:31 to finish this one. She see them talking. Okay, question number 2. You have 15 minutes. They
Y'all are
whining.
Y'all are
But guess
10
what,
minutes.
that's what your exam is.
Exam
They said you take
You
10,
see?
15 minutes to read through all your questions and pick the ones you're gonna write on. You don't have time
You
to
have time for
deliberate.
that.
I know that, but what I'm saying is, if there are questions coming out, Miss Archie, give us those questions last night. We try to manage time. I know how the rest of my classmates can do it. I know that much. You see how they was talking, that's why.
And then,
They
and then you know
have
which,
to
you know
So
which
I
areas
like
you
that.
strongest in, so you look for the questions in that. Cause I think you only need 1 from
Well, I
one
hope-
section and then.
Finish on by CCA. I prefer accounting though.
You for accounting, yeah, she did say that, she was for accounting.
I'm going on and do that on the side, and I can take my test with testing and evaluation.
But it's the same thing?
They don't have it here.
No, the ACCA is almost basically the same thing.
And yeah, but when I finish, I don't want to schedule for my CPA, I ain't today. One thing I ain't gonna do
What's the
is, I'm gonna be,
ACCA?
See, the
financial
CPA
accounting and, yeah,
Yeah.
financial management.
It's,
I'm
it's
being
almost
jack
the
of all
same thing
trades.
because you have to do the,
I don't do accounting.
where
I don't work in
the
accounting for
where
10,000
the
years.
exam is
It's basically
listing
That's
out.
how I am
Right.
too with my certifications. It's
I'm good.
possible. Because it's
So
tough.
when
So
I'm
I
ready,
apply
I
it.
can move
I
around
did
the
this.
city.
Where is the
What
exam?
else I do?
The
I do something else.
international exam.
You could do
of the
wealth
ACCA.
management.
Start, you can do it, and testing and
But
evaluation.
guess
Yeah,
what? I
that's
enjoyed
much
this
better.
company class because
But you
in opening
Exactly
structures,
the same
especially when you, what is part 2 of the company law, the company
Your
administration? Yeah. What does that
looking at different
cover?
products.
Like what?
We do trusts, icons, purpose trusts,
Smartphones and stuff.
smartphones.
I have a question for you. Smart Fund 004. It is structured so that it can be like for families and small private investors, 5 people or less. Okay? How is it that an institutional investor
Penalties.
that would resell
Ma'am,
Right.
penalties.
can be considered as not one investor instead of the 20 people under him?
Blue shirt, blue sweater.
Brian.
When?
One investor.
Yeah, an institutional investor is considered as one investor, but he can resell in custody. So he at the face of the fund, he buys the fund, and then he resells his share to 20 other people. But he has the knowledge of those 20 other people, and to the fund, it's only just one investor.
But that shouldn't be allowed to happen.
It is allowed. We got a legal opinion. And now I was arguing because I was saying that institutional investor cannot be counted as one because he has underlying people that are buying into the fund. But then they say the responsibility for the due diligence of what he takes it on himself because he takes on whatever the risk is because he is the custody.
So he takes full risk.
He takes the full risk because he is the custodian. At the face, he is the face to the fund. Okay? So the fund has one investor, which is the institutional investor. And that institutional investor can buy, let's say, 20,000 shares. But he sells it to
Other
20 people.
underlying, yeah.
Yes. So the 20 people bank with him, and he banks with the fund. And we got a legal opinion that's allowed. And to me, that's the biggest loophole in that scenario.
What?
That makes no sense to me.
No.
And I can't.
Because it wasn't made to
No,
work that way.
and I said to
It's
my
supposed to be
colleague,
individual.
I said to my colleague, but that is not the purpose of the
No,
smart funds.
no.
But and I got one on my desk to open, and I'm hesitant to sign off on it because I do not
And
agree.
what did the commission say?
We couldn't get the commissioner doggone answers. We went to
We should get a commission answer.
Samantha somebody, I forget what her last name is.
I'd wait till the commission answer.
I didn't agree with that. You know the commissioner I give her, I don't want name and one number.
I don't know if she'll know.
I totally disagree with that concept. We got a legal opinion on that, and I said to my colleague, I
get
said,
that from the
and it's her
commission
contact,
first.
so I said, could you go back and say
Why
that
did you write
clearly?
Michelle?
Michelle Bingham.
Martinborough.
Martinborough.
Ask Michelle.
What did I get called? I'll call the commissioner again.
Yeah, call Michelle or what's the other one name? Who works with her deputy?
Samara,
Omara Bingham.
Amara. We were trying to get her, we couldn't get her. So that's how come we ended up with legal counsel.
Ask one of them first. Because Michelle would have been a part of writing it.
Yeah, yeah,
So
but
ask
yeah.
Michelle.
To me, that
if
use, that's
yeah,
the
because it
biggest
doesn't make any
loophole.
sense.
That's the biggest
So that
loophole
means that it
ever.
doesn't matter which fund it is, an
No.
institution can take it and have underlying where the
Right.
requirements is 7, 5,
And the only
2,
thing,
1.
the only thing that the thing have, the
Well, that may
description
be
have
why,
is
that
a
may
term
be why
sheet.
they're actually revamping it,
They are?
the whole thing.
Okay.
But ask her first.
I got so. Because the only thing that they didn't need to provide is the term sheet. And the term sheet is coming in one pager. And even the term sheet ain't mandatory.
Yeah, so
So
ask
to
her.
me,
Ask
that
Michelle.
I was like, what? Because it came, okay, we bought out that company. So we had a problem, and that was one of the accounts that came over, and I had a problem with it. So I said exit, because they had one guy on the face, and there were 20-something other
Underneath,
people
yeah.
that all by now they could go in their system and show me who the 20 people are, and their account is with the Lugano office and this, that, the next. But to me, I said no, because you telling me this is the BO of this fund.
Yeah,
He's not the BO.
No, there's all these people underneath.
He is the face.
Yeah, he's just a face. All right, get to work. Yes, you can leave. She's always in a hurry to go.
What Lauren supposed to do? What is money laundering? What is money laundering? What is money laundering?
Who doing what is money laundering? Not you.
Lauren, you said for Lauren.
Lauren, yeah. What is money laundering? I forgot she told me she.
Miss Archer, I have a next question for you.
Doesn't come on that day.
So that is unit 6.
Yeah, unit 6.
So Ryan, I bring coffee on Sunday morning.
I wonder what I get.
You drink coffee, Miss Archer?
Decaf.
Yes, ma'am. Cream and sugar?
No, no sugar, no cream, half and half.
Dunkin' Donuts have half and half?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Decaf, no sugar, half and half.
Yep.
Okay. Show now. Ray, you drinking coffee too?
I'm an easy one to have
Cream and sugar.
sugar and caffeine and
Miss Archer.
pry the eyes open.
My eyes will be open, man.
I understand that you don't have a mayor for this position.
That was advertised. Wasn't filled.
Is it fair?
Mm-hmm.
I think there is somebody else you know.
Email it to me.
Okay.
I'll give it to her.
Okay. Who's the
The chief first officer.
I have someone, she is, a friend of mine, she's from commercial finance, from commercial finance, 20 odd years now. But she does the rest. She's currently doing her CA. And she has a master's degree in finance. But she's trying to transition out of commercial banking and is finding it hard because everybody's saying that she don't have no experience. But she learnable. She learnable,
But
but
let me see if she.
and she's very practical and very logical.
Because I think she said she's looking for someone who's actually done like risk assessments and stuff like that. That's what she's looking for. It's so difficult to find someone.
No, because risk is just now coming on the
Come on,
forefront.
yeah. But send it any other
Someone
thing
that
she
has
say.
done. But tell her the story, trainable man. She can explain to her what she needs.
But more likely she'll normally take her in, interview her, and then she'll get a feel.
I tell her, say your problem is you bad in interview when you can't talk from
Where she get able to talk for herself.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Ray, you straight with a ride? Now I'm going your
No,
way.
because
But you
he-
straight for a ride? I'm obligated to ask.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So you're on Saturday, hopefully?
I'll be on Saturday. Oh, I gotta do this one. Make this now.
No man, you can't finish that in time.
Are you close though?
No, Miss Dean isn't here. She has to take something.